Today, I'm flying first class for the next 2 days from Australia, 11,000 miles, all the way to London. So long in fact, we'll have to stop in Singapore and Dubai en route. Each leg will get even better, flying the very best the world has to offer, from multiple in-flight lounges, to fine dining, bedrooms, and even the most opulent bathroom you've ever seen on board a plane. Yes, you see correctly, that's a shower. As usual, I'll share with you how I booked this, which retails at over $15,000 a person. With that, let's pick up our story in Sydney, Australia. You join me here by the iconic Sydney Opera House, where we're going to begin our journey all the way to London. Now today's a little bit different because of course I'm bringing my mum along.
Yes, it's me.
Yes, it's you. Welcome back to the channel.
Hi.
We've been staying at the Four Seasons located right on the harbour front, and it's where we'll catch our transfer over to the airport. It will take about 25 minutes to travel the 10 or so miles to Sydney Kingsford Smith International Airport. Qantas operates out of Terminal 1 here, with separate check-in areas for economy, business class, and of course first class, which we're flying today. Check-in is swiftly dealt with, and after loading our cases, I'm issued with the first of 3 boarding passes for this mammoth trip. Should we go and head through security then? Usefully, there's a separate premium channel for business and first class guests, which expedites the whole process. Before we head to the lounge, Mum wants to do a spot of shopping in duty free. Ah yes, some Aussie gin to bring home for Dad. I, however, have to stock up on Tim Tams for me and Millie. Right then, let's go and check out what's touted as the best lounge in Australia. Of course, this is the Qantas First Class Lounge, accessible only to those in first class, or indeed holding elite One World frequent flyer status. Anyhow, the lounge itself. It's big. In fact, it's over 21,000 square foot and hosts a plethora of facilities. There's a ton of comfy seating dotted throughout, which means whilst it's busy in here, you wouldn't notice it thanks to this zoning. Of course, there's a fully stocked bar featuring a selection of Aussie wines, and importantly to me, a proper kitchen. Yes, there's an actual restaurant in here, all complimentary. I'm also impressed to find a spa here, located in the far corner of the space, offering a selection of inclusive treatments before your flight. Now I know there's a lot of food coming up, but I simply must try a couple of items off the menu. After placing my order, I can see our aircraft taxiing over to the departure stand. I can't wait for this one. Mum goes for the tomato soup, whilst I choose the Qantas icon, salt and pepper squid. Happy to report it's as delicious as ever. Our waiter insists we try the pavlova, topped with cotton candy, which, whilst a challenge to eat, doesn't disappoint. We're notified our aircraft is on stand, and as you'll have just seen, we're flying on board this Airbus A380, delivered new to Qantas back in 2010. I think it's time we go and take our first of 3 flights today. Each of course will be in first class, getting increasingly more extravagant as we get nearer to London. Being in first, me and Mum are escorted right to the front of check-in, and within moments we're invited to be the first aboard this massive jet. Regardless of how many times I'm fortunate enough to get on board first class, it's always special to me, and I can't help smile as we step onto Qantas's mighty bird. First things first, let's stow my carry-on up in the overhead bin. Right then, our aircraft, which can accommodate 484 passengers over 4 classes of service. First class is on the main deck, right at the front. I'm in 1 kilo, whilst Mum is in 5 kilo. Sadly, I couldn't sit us closer due to the flight being fully booked, but I think it's fair to say Mum looks very comfortable. Let's settle down into my seat. We'll check back in on Mum once we're airborne. I'm served olives, nuts and some sparkling water whilst the safety video begins to screen.
Your life jacket under your seat, put it over your head, pass the strap around your waist, clip at the front, and remember, only inflate your life jacket after you leave the aircraft.
So So what's our route? Well, we'll be flying for the next 9 hours, covering nearly 4,000 miles, arriving into Singapore later this evening. It's not all too long before we reach our cruising altitude of 38,000 feet. Firstly, I'd like to take a proper look around our suite, but in order to get comfy, let's boot the Tims off and get the super soft Qantas slippers on. As I've mentioned, I'm in one of the 14 first class suites in this cabin. They're roomy and even have enough space for 2 joint meal service. Yes, seriously. The seat itself has recently been reupholstered. It's supportive and is fully adjustable via this touchscreen. I will say it's not the most private, as it's lacking a door, which has become the norm these days. I guess we'll have to wait for Project Sunrise for that. Shall we take a look at the menu then? Now, this is a pretty solid offering in my opinion. As my order is placed, champagne anyone? Qantas serve a 2013 rare champagne, which retails at around $250 a bottle. This is complemented with some canapes. Caviar bingo card, check. With lunch on the way, shall we put the seat into dining mode? In terms of your tray table, this retracts from the central console, sliding out to reveal a pretty large dining space. I suppose it has to for the buddy dine option. I'm initially offered a selection of bread, of which we have to sample the garlic. Shall we go and check in on Mum then, and see what she's having to eat? Being vegetarian, she's ordered the stir-fried shiitake mushrooms, with tofu, side salad and jasmine rice. Initial reports are in, and it's delicious. Typical me, I'm going all out and order the tapas to begin. A creative take, something different and equally not too heavy. For main, no, I didn't choose the steak, instead the Balinese duck, which is fresh, rich and pretty spicy, the perfect combo. It's of course dessert time. Now I really fancy some ice cream and have a real soft spot for an ice cream sandwich, though I thought this would be a made up dessert and not a pre-packaged one. Aside from needing to wait for it to thaw out, it's super tasty. With dinner service out of the way, I'm furnished with some pyjamas and an amenity kit. Shall we go and get changed then? There are 2 lavatories located at the front of the first class cabin. I did find on occasion I had to queue, given it's just 2 bathrooms between 14, but that's not an issue. It's also been kept super clean throughout our flight. In terms of the amenity kit, it's well stocked, with LUE cosmetics, toothbrush, eye mask and earplugs. The PJs are comfy, but I do wish they have the same kangaroo design that business class get. How cool are these? I think it's time to go check out the onboard lounge. This is accessible to both business and first class, and located upstairs on the upper deck of our aircraft, right at the front. The space features 3 seating areas, which are mostly unoccupied during our flight. Therefore, Mum and I decide to set up camp. Naturally, we'll have to sample some more of that rare champagne on offer, and at the touch of a button and a few minutes, I think a cheers is in order. We're informed by one of the flight crew that they turned our beds down for us, and both being fans of an afternoon nap, head back downstairs to the first class cabin. Qantas provides some of the best bedding in the industry, complete with plump feather-filled pillows, deep mattress topper and duvet. Well, that nap may have turned into a slightly longer sleep, and I'm told we're nearly on final descent into Singapore. A quick change later, let's get the Tims back on and fasten my seatbelt. Good evening, Singapore. We actually have a brief overnight stop here before our next first class flight early morning, so rather than stay at the airport, we'll enter the country, grab our bags and take a taxi downtown. I've chosen the recently reopened Mandarin Oriental for our layover. Rates are around $500 each for the night. But for that we get a beautifully refurbished room, each with views out over Marina Bay. In addition, this comes with club lounge access with free-flowing cocktails, so naturally a Singapore sling has to be sampled. And if that's not enough, it also comes with $200 dining credit, so we give the on-site Italian restaurant a shot. Before you say it's super late, otherwise I'd absolutely go to the Hawker Centre. Good morning, that sure was a quick layover. Next up is Emirates, and they've provided a transfer for us to the airport. I can't say the weather is on our side this morning, but worry not, being British, we're very much used to it. We're dropped right outside Terminal 1, which is actually where I started my Starlux journey a few months ago. Let's head inside and out of the rain. Check-in is actually pretty busy. Mind you, Emirates does operate 4 daily flights here. Thankfully, this entire process takes no more than 10 or so minutes, and we're on our way to passport control. So, what did Mum think to our brief layover?
It was good, it was nice to have a rest, and
it was
a lovely place, and sorry to leave really.
Yes, I wish we could have a bit longer, to be honest with you. But anyway, let's head over to the Emirates lounge.
So due to the volume of flights here, Emirates operates its own outstation lounge. I'm intrigued how this translates for first class passengers, given their impressive facility in Dubai. After a brief document check, we're welcomed into the lounge. It's a tad dated, but features plenty of comfy seating, of which we'll make a beeline for the window. In fact, it's perfect timing, as our aircraft is just taxiing to the gate, introducing our 10-year-old Boeing 777 bound for Dubai. We do still have a little time before boarding though, so let's check out the features of this lounge. There's a half-decent breakfast buffet, pastries and alcohol selection to be enjoyed at one of the restaurant-style tables. I for one need my first caffeine hit of the day, so I'll make myself a cappuccino and have this back at my seat. Given we're in Singapore, all security screening happens directly at the gate, so we'll need to head over to C25 in order to start the process. It's all a bit hectic at the gate, with no priority queue, and it takes around 15 minutes to get through the screening. It seems in this time the weather outside has worsened still, so part of me is concerned about a delay or likely very rocky takeoff. Nevertheless, we're shortly invited to board, so I guess time will tell if there are any issues. This is also Mum's first time on board Emirates, and what an experience to try their 777 first class, our second flight of 3. And just before we get on board, I recently found out I was being charged every month for an additional Netflix subscription. Well, today's video sponsor Rocket Money is here to help. Rocket Money is the personal finance app that helps you cancel subscriptions, lower bills, and manage your money better. I'm using Rocket Money to cancel unwanted subscriptions. Rocket Money safely and securely identifies recurring charges and cancels these unwanted subscriptions for you. You can even cancel from within the app in just a couple of taps, so there's no need to worry about those customer service calls. I'm using Rocket Money to set up smart savings for that dream 4 seasons round the world flight. You can choose the amount and the frequency, and Rocket Money will automatically deposit savings into a smart savings account. You can withdraw anytime. Rocket Money has helped save customers an average of $720 a year, with over $500 million in cancelled subscriptions. To save more and spend less, join the over 5 million members using Rocket Money today. Go to rocketmoney.com/Trek Trendy or click the link in the description to get started for free. You can unlock more features with premium. That's rocketmoney.com/Trek Trendy to get started for free. Welcome on board Emirates 777 First Class. There are no overhead bins in this cabin, so we'll instead stow these under the seat where there's plenty of room. Next, I'm offered some dates and freshly brewed Arabic coffee as the safety video begins to run.
مرحبا بكم على متن هذه الرحلة. يرجى التوقف لحظة لتحديد موقع أقرب مخرج طوارئ إليك الذي قد يكون خلفك.
So what's the plan? We'll fly for the next 8 hours, some 3,800 miles, all the way over to Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. Now we've reached altitude, I'd fancy getting changed into the famous Emirates moisturising pyjamas provided to me in this rather fetching tote bag. Let's head to one of the 2 bathrooms at the front of the aircraft. No, these are certainly not the bathrooms you'll get on board the A380, so there's no shower, but given the limited space, they're clean and well stocked with amenities such as these dental kits and perfume. Right, let's get this hydroactive sleepwear on. Now, I love my NASA jumper, but these have got to be some of the comfiest PJs going. Shall we take a proper look around then? There's room for a total of 354 passengers, across 3 classes of travel. Me and Mum have 1 and 2 kilo, which are identical suites. Each has a spacious, fully adjustable armchair, which converts to a fully flat bed. There's a tablet to control all the various functionalities, such as the motorised minibar, or lighting dotted throughout. You'll get a 32-inch TV to enjoy the many thousands of movies and TV shows. Oh, and a Hollywood-style vanity mirror, and if this wasn't enough, a writing kit. Service kicks off with a bang, in form of a delicious-looking 2013 Dom Perignon, a staple of first class, though in fact a champagne you'll only ever find in the sky on Emirates these days. Shall we go and see how Mum is getting on? I think it's fair to say she's loving her first time on Emirates. Back at my suite, shall we get some lunch ordered? The menu, as to be expected with Emirates, is extensive, and I've even promised myself to have something other than steak today. Let's get the tray table out then. It folds out at the touch of a button just to your right. I'm then served some canapes of melon and prosciutto, along with prawns in a tomato salsa. Something I haven't been able to hold back on though, get those bingo cards ready, is caviar. Judging by the portion size, I'm probably the only person having it today. Naturally, this is served with all the trimmings, and as usual, definitely doesn't disappoint. Meanwhile, Mum opts for the butternut squash and sweet corn chowder, served with sour cream and croutons. It's time for the main event. I've gone for the roasted chicken, served with Arabic-style sauce, pilaf rice, and carrots. It's just okay, and I kind of regret not defaulting to the steak this time. Meanwhile, Mum has discovered the delight of the Emirates Arabic meze, and is sticking with this as a main, which is totally fair, as you just get so much of it. To close, I just have to sample the chocolate caramel tart, with creme fraiche and toasted pistachios. A stellar lunch it has to be said, with only the chicken letting it down. Post dinner, the crew offered to make up my suite into a bed, and who am I to say no? Just look at that. Now you don't need to ask me twice, let's hop in and get comfy. One of my favourite features of this suite is the doors, which can close at the touch of a button. It's not floor-to-ceiling privacy like the Game Changer or indeed Air France's curtain, but it definitely gives the illusion of such. Now, I'm trying not to sleep in this sector in an attempt to get my body clock back to the UK time zone, so instead it's time to check out the movie selection. They also provide some phenomenal noise-cancelling headphones, which, by the way, you can't take home with you. Would you believe it? We've just made landfall over the UAE. It certainly seemed quicker than 8 hours, but I guess when you're essentially eating and watching movies in bed, time does indeed fly. I'll of course need to get changed, try it as I might. I think I'll have a few odd looks, wearing these pyjamas around DXB. All that remains is to get the Tims back on, along with my seatbelt as we make our final approach into Dubai. I think you can tell by the smiles on our faces, we really enjoyed that flight. It may not be the range-topping A380 with a shower and a bar, but the 777 still packs a luxurious punch. Now we're plunged into the busy Dubai terminal, but worry not, first class continues on the ground. We've got a lovely Emirates employee escorting us over to the first class lounge in Terminal B. This firstly involves a security checkpoint, where we have to scan our bags, followed by a brief train ride under the apron. Welcome to the Emirates First Class Lounge, Terminal B. This, like other lounges at DXB, is directly above the main passenger concourse and provides some welcome respite from the hubbub down below. Unfortunately, much of this lounge is currently undergoing a facelift, so some of the facilities are not available. Not to worry, we'll head to the restaurant, which includes a high quality buffet from traditional Arabic food to sushi and sweet treats. You can also order a la carte off a menu. Let's find a comfy seat and take a look at what's on offer. Instead, I'll settle for a caffeine hit, as I'm still a little full from my lunch. Let's find out what Mum thinks to the experience so far.
Pretty wonderful. It was really good.
Yeah.
And so much space. I've never experienced
It's
such
lovely, isn't
luxury and space.
You wait to the
on a
next one,
plane.
you're going to have even more.
Really?
Do you know there's a shower on board the next flight?
Really?
Say no more, let's head there right away. Our final flight beckons. The other rather unique feature of this upper lounge complex is you board directly from this area, rather than going back onto the main passenger level. This results in a far calmer experience, as there's significantly less people in premium cabins queuing to get on board. Here we are then, flight 3 of 3, finally. We're on board a box fresh, new look Emirates aircraft. Of course, it's one of the Heathrow bound A380s. We're both warmly welcomed on board and directed over to our suites. Let's get my seatbelt fastened right away. It's not all too long before the safety video begins to screen.
Welcome aboard. We're about to show you the safety features of this Emirates flight, and we need your full attention. Whenever the seatbelt sign is switched on, you should be seated with your seatbelt fastened.
Our flight will take us 7 hours to cover the near 3,500 miles all the way to London. As we reach altitude, it's time to whip off my seatbelt and explore. Like with our earlier Qantas flight, the passenger capacity on board the A380 is mind-blowing, with just shy of 500 seats across 4 classes of travel. We'll focus of course on the first class cabin, with room for 14, which in terms of first class is rather big. We're in 2 and 3 kilo for this leg, which features Emirates' recently rolled out interior, which has a more subtle and in my opinion, classier feel. To kick off, I'm going to change into my PJs, so let's grab my freshly restocked tote bag and head for the lavatory. There are 2 of these located at the front of the first class cabin, with a dedicated member of staff manning these to ensure they're kept clean throughout the flight. But these are also called shower spas because, as the name suggests, they're not ordinary in-flight lavatories. It's got to be comfortably 5 times the size of your usual facilities, with a heated floor, huge wash basin, premium cosmetics, and about every additional amenity you can possibly imagine. I've also been provided with a Bulgaria amenity kit, which I rate as the best provided in flight, even including a $150 a bottle fragrance. Without any more to say, let's shower on board a commercial aircraft. Regardless of the fact I've been so fortunate to do this a number of times, it really never gets old. After a particularly busy day of travel, you can't beat that feeling of putting your fresh PJs on after a shower at 37,000 feet. Waiting back at my suite is a fruit platter and a special relaxation tea. Oh, and look who it is. Mum has got wind of the onboard lounge and suggests we head there. I don't need to be asked twice. Located to the rear of the upper deck, behind the business class cabin, is the Instagram famous Emirates Lounge and Bar, accessible to business and first. It's ordinarily the life and soul of the plane, but meal service is currently ongoing in business class, hence the lull. It's certainly a lovely place to be, whether that's to stretch your legs in flight, enjoy a light snack, or indulge in a cocktail. We, however, will be sampling some more of the delicious 2013 Dom Perignon, which is specially served to first-class passengers in here. Who would have thought we'd be in another Sky Lounge in the space of a day? This really has been such a special trip with Mum. Several glasses of Dom down, I think we'll head back to our suites for a spot of dinner. As with our previous flights, dinner is available throughout the flight, until 1 hour before touchdown. My table is beautifully set and furnished with Arabic breads, artisanal oils, butter, and of course a DC, well, Pepsi Max on board Emirates. To start, given how much Mum seemed to enjoy it on the previous flight, I've ordered the Arabic meze, complete with hummus, mutabal, stuffed vine leaves, falafel, yeah, the list goes on. For main, I opt for the lamb kebabs, served with spicy tomato butter and fragrant rice. This goes down an absolute treat, and much better than the chicken on the previous flight. Unfortunately, I think I'm beaten by the amount of food, so we'll forgo dessert. I'll get the suite doors shut and settle in for the remaining few hours of the flight. I guess I'll pick up with some more movies on the excellent in-flight entertainment system. You may be wondering just how much this entire experience has cost me, and I'll go into this when we land in London. For now, let's get changed ready for our final approach into LHR. If I'm honest, I'm blown away by how relaxed, comfortable and unjet-lagged I am, given we've travelled all the way from Australia. So price-wise, this clearly was not a cheap experience. So this was booked as one ticket, as Emirates and Qantas operate code shares, therefore came out at $7,949 each. This was booked through the American Express International Flight Program, which can usually save you significant money off the headline price.